Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. Thank you all for making it in time and attending our webinar for the American Honors. I'm delighted to see familiar faces. Before we start, just let me briefly introduce myself. My name is Michael Francis. I'm the Regional Director for Wellspring in the entire MENA region. Along with me is Rylan, who is our success coach, who will be guiding you through the entire, who'll be conducting the webinar and explaining a bit more about our American Honors Program, American Success Program. He will talk to you about the benefits of the program, the opportunities that students get to receive upon joining the program. So Rylan, if you would like to briefly introduce yourself and kick us off with the webinar.
Great. Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. Yes, my name is Rylan Ollivier. I'm a success coach with Wellspring, and I am based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So that's the area that I'm working at in the Northeast. And I'm excited to share with you some information about programs that we have. For American Success, American Honors, they are two different programs, but the benefits are the same for both programs. So we recommend that you start at a 2-year college called a community college, very common in the US, because they have some advantages over going to a university when you first start college. So we have several colleges in the Northeast. We have one in Philadelphia, where I'm based, and one in Cranford, New Jersey, which is in the northern part of New Jersey. And this is a really cool area being in the Northeast because it's very close to big cities like New York City, Boston, Washington, D.C. So it's a really cool area. The colleges themselves are much smaller than a university. So the students can get an education just like they would at a university for these first general education classes, but at a much more affordable price because they're a smaller school. When students attend these colleges, they can join these American Honors, American Success programs, and then when they graduate, they can transfer to a leading school in the US, anywhere. The benefits of doing these programs is that mainly the students save a lot of money by going to these community colleges first, rather than going directly to a university. There are also other benefits like a transfer network with our program, as well as with the local schools that have their own transfer networks. And during the first year or 2 years of this time at community colleges, students have the opportunity to build up their GPA and build up their English TOEFL scores so that when it comes time to transfer to these top tier universities, they have an advantage. They've had time to build up so that now they're competitive and they have a good chance of entering into these top tier schools. So other benefits that come with this program, the students, when they're in American Honors, they have this opportunity to take honors level classes at these colleges. They're offered by the 2-year schools, and they're very challenging, rigorous classes that are in preparation for the challenging courses at these 4-year universities. The students, like I mentioned, they get access to a transfer network that helps them to direct them for schools they want to go to when they graduate, as well as transfer seminars that focus on the transfer process, transfer applications, and general information that the students will find helpful when they're preparing to transfer and in the process of applying to transfer to these schools. And that's something that the Success Coach does as part of this support. And the students, when they're in the American Honors, American Success Program, they all receive someone like me to help them, which is a success coach. My job is really to provide one-on-one support for each student with whatever they feel like they need help with. It could be professional, academic, social. My job is just to provide 24/7 total support for the students. Now, this includes transfer, help with transfer applications, transfer essays, teaching seminars, helping them make goals both academic and professional and social for their academics. And when the students are involved in these honors level classes, there's also the added benefit of, because these honors classes are offered through the college, the students get the benefits of being in an honors community at the community college, which includes working with these honors faculties and taking advantage of student study groups and other resources through the college. The students, when they complete the American Honors Program and are eligible, then that also means the students are eligible to get conditional acceptance to universities like New York University and the University of Rochester, which is a really exciting prospect when students can join our program. So this is a chart that just has a general overview of what the students are doing and thinking as they're becoming and going through the international student process. So once the student has decided that they want to be an international student and study in the US, once they've identified what school they want to go to and what program and they've applied for it, then there are some details the student needs to figure out. Some of these are like housing. So we have to decide, where is the student going to live? There are a few options. For most community colleges, dormitories are not available. That's usually for universities. So the students have some options like apartments. I can speak for Philadelphia since that's what I work with most, but there are a ton of apartments in Philadelphia. There's no shortage of housing here. So that's a big option for students, is to stay privately in apartments. There are also homestay options if they wanted to do that, to stay with a family. And there's somebody on our end, like me and other people, who can help the students when they do want to try to figure out where they want to live. We have resources set up to help the students make those choices and do that research, as well as travel, like travel arrival services. The student needs to also figure out, how are they going to get from the airport where they arrive to the school or to their house. And again, that's someone like me is there to help them to navigate the transportation in the city that they're going to arrive in, so that everything goes smoothly in getting from point A to point B. They also receive some information and resources like a college prep kit. This is a kit that has a lot of useful information for the students. It includes things like tips for how to be successful as a college student, maybe some important information for students that they may not know because they're, haven't never lived in the US before, including skills and all kinds of information about how to be successful and how to go through your college program. It's at this stage the students will also take some placement tests. Now, they've already submitted their English scores and their transcripts from high school and previous institutions. But at this point, the student will take some placement tests at the college that they applied to. And this is to better choose English and math classes. Essentially, we want to make sure the students goes into the right level for math and English when they start college. So they'll take some placement tests at this stage. And there are different types of programs available through Wellspring. I already mentioned them before a little bit. So we have the honors level courses, which are the courses that are a little bit more demanding. They have some higher entry requirements because they are a little bit more challenging and rigorous. We have the standard courses available at the college, and this could also include high school credits, which is something that I'll talk about a little bit later. But the standard courses are what most students take when they're in these colleges. And another program we offer, or the college offers rather, is ESL courses. So these are courses specifically for students who come here who are maybe not quite up to level yet for their English, but they're very close and they want to just get a little bit of extra help. So the colleges offer some ESL programs to help the student get there when they arrive. There are also some extracurricular activities for the students that are involved through our program. I mentioned before, we have these seminars every semester. We give seminars to provide the students with lots of information concerning transferring concerning academics, everything they need to be successful and make their time going through a community college to be as smooth as possible, essentially, as well as social activities to help the student feel more comfortable and feel like they're more part of a community in this program and at this college. Another part of the process is essentially working with me, the success coach, or whoever is their success coach. And it's my job to really coordinate some of the things I've mentioned, such as seminars, activity, weekly coaching. All of these kind of things is what my job is. And it's the students' job to take advantage of these resources that I offer. So this success coaching is part of the program. It's, regular meetings, regular discussion, regular communication with me whenever the student needs it, to provide them with more support, basically, for academics, transferring, really anything they need. And another big part of this process is building an integrated community. We want the students to feel as comfortable as possible. These students, many of them have maybe never been away from their home before, and now they're in a different country for an extended period of time. Students may be homesick. This is, very common. And so we want to, from the very beginning, build a social community here in the program and at the college. And we do that by hosting and creating some social events for the students. Sometimes they are academic, sometimes they're purely for fun, just to make friends and, reward yourself for working hard during the week at school. And beyond our program, there's also many other social opportunities and community events that are available at the college and even in the city itself. So there's a lot for the students to do, and we encourage them to take part as much as possible to have some fun and build a community here. And of course, the end result of this entire process is the goal of reaching your dream school, wherever that is in the US. So let's talk a little bit about our programs. The first program is the Community College of Philadelphia. It is located in the northeast of the US. It's about 2 hours from New York City, about 90 minutes from Washington, DC. It's in a really interesting location, being on the East Coast. It's close to a lot of things. It's very diverse ethnically. There's a lot of history. Philadelphia is one of the oldest cities in the US. So there's a very interesting vibe to the place. You see a lot of historical monuments. And because of Philadelphia is one of the cities in the US that has the most universities, there's a lot of people from around the world coming here for school and work. So it's a very interesting, diverse environment, very culturally rich, which is great for students when they're young and going to school to be exposed to all this. There is an international airport not far from campus. It's only 17 kilometers. And there is public transportation that can take the students from the airports to parts of the town like Center City and the college and wherever they're living. So that's good. This college is quite big. There's almost 30,000 total students, and the faculty is also quite large. We have over 300 full-time faculty and almost 300 part-time faculty. So it's a big school as far as community colleges go, physically and in terms of the staff and students. For Philadelphia and this part of the country, the climate is going to be about 4 seasons. So there's going to be a hot summer, a cool and wet fall and spring, and a cold winter. So when students are planning to come to Philadelphia, they really need to prepare accordingly, buy the correct clothes, get warm clothes, or be prepared to buy it when they arrive here. But we do have four distinct seasons, so students should be aware of that. And something I briefly touched on, most community colleges in the US do not have dorms. So students who are expecting to come here should plan to either stay at an apartment or at a homestay, or even with family in the area if they happen to have it, which some students do. So that's just something to think about. So let's talk about the total cost. So the total cost for 1 year at the Community College of Philadelphia is around $27,000, a little bit more than that. It fluctuates a bit, of course. Every year it goes up a little bit, or maybe goes down a little bit, especially regarding room and board, because housing definitely fluctuates from time to time and every year. The program fee we have at CCP is $1,500 per year. So that's $750 per semester. Room and board, we approximated around $9,700 per year. But again, that fluctuates a little bit. And it's also determined by where the student wants to live. If the student wants to live in a more expensive apartment and without a roommate, it will obviously be a little bit more, or conversely, the student, if they want to live with several roommates and be a little more budget friendly, they can save a little bit of money. But it's ultimately up to the student what they want to do for housing options. So talking about the entry requirements for the American Honors Program, the GPA requirement to enter this is 3.25. Now that's a little high, but again, the American Honors Program has students taking honors levels academics at these colleges, which are more challenging and more rigorous than the standard class. As you can see, for the TOEFL IBT score, it requires a 77 at least, in addition to at least 20 in writing. Now you see in the American Success Program, there is not a writing requirement. The reason is because, again, honors is challenging. We want to set students up to succeed. We want to make sure that they go into the program and go into these classes with the skills and the ability to succeed and do well. So that's one reason why some of these requirements are a little bit higher for the honors. And the students, of course, will complete the program in around 2 years and then transfer to a leading university. Now, the American Success Program, the requirements are a little bit lower. So it's only 2.0 for GPA. And the TOEFL and IELTS scores are basically the same with the except that there is no writing component required for the American Success. These courses are preparing students for a standard college course, so the rigor and the high requirements is not necessarily necessary for this. Some students are really bright and amazing, but they're not quite there yet. Maybe their GPA is a little low, so they do have some time to get up their GPA to 3.25 in the first year. And if they can do that, then they have the option of transitioning to the American Honors Program. So they can enter the program through American Success and become an American Honors student in the process. So that gives them maybe some goals to accomplish. Golden Gate University. This is our West Coast institution. It is located in San Francisco, California. It is a little bit smaller than the Community College of Philadelphia, quite a bit actually. It's only total students of over 3,000. So it's a little bit smaller, fewer faculty as well. One thing I find really interesting about this school is that 80% of the faculty are practicing professionals. So they're not full-time professors, but they have some career and profession outside of work. And then they're working at the school part-time. I mean, I personally can speak for having experienced that, because when I was in college, I had a professor who worked for the state Supreme Court as his day job, and he gave a few night classes for fun. And it was interesting to have a professor who has this career and this life working in the state Supreme Court, but then coming to teach classes with college students in the evening. It was a very different experience than having a normal professor who just works all day with students. So I think that's very interesting, unique part of this college. It's located downtown in San Francisco. It's in the financial district. So it's going to be the most urban campus that we have for one of our programs. It's about 5 miles. We have dorms too, which is an exception. Generally, colleges don't have dorms, but Golden Gate does happen to have dormitories, which is great. And they're not very far. They're only located about half a mile from campus, which is quite convenient. And San Francisco is, I think, one of the most beautiful cities in America. So it's a very cool place for a student to go to school. It's very diverse, just like the East Coast, with a lot of historical communities there, such as, there's a historic Chinatown, historic Koreatown. There's so many different ethnic groups that live there in their little communities. So it's a very culturally rich part of the country, very beautiful, which is a really cool thing that students could experience. So looking at some of the expenses, the total cost is very similar here. It's about $29,000 per semester. The program fee is $1,300 per semester, so it's a little bit less. If we look at the entry guidelines, they're going to be, for the GPA for our programs, they're going to be the same, 2.0 for American Success and 3.25 to enter the honors program. If we look at the English qualifications, they're a little bit lower here. So for honors, it's only 71, and for American Success, it's dropped down to 31. So it's a little bit lower here, but the good thing is that this allows more opportunity for more students to enter the program who may not be ready to have a score that high yet, but they still need a semester or two to get that high. This provides the opportunity for that student to enter the program through this college. Another campus we have Union County College in Union County, New Jersey. This is just like the Philadelphia College, has a lot of opportunities because of its great location on the East Coast. Union County College is only about 45 minutes from New York City. So it's really out in the suburbs, but very close to New York City. So the students, when they're studying, may not have the distractions that they would if they were living in a place like New York City, which is very busy and there's a lot of exciting things happening. So, but if they wanted to spend a weekend in New York City, that opportunity is very easy because they're so close to that place. It's a little bit smaller than Community College Philadelphia. So it's only around 8,000, a little bit more than 8,000 students. And there is an international airport that's not far away. It's only 20 kilometers away. It's the Newark Liberty International Airport. So that's not very difficult to get to. And the climate here is very similar to Philadelphia because it's the East Coast. But because it's New Jersey, it's a little bit closer to the ocean. So the weather here will be a little bit colder. And the students will definitely need to pack for 4 seasons, just like Philadelphia. There's going to be a hot summer, a cold winter, and a cool fall and spring. Another interesting part is the diversity here, which is, again, very culturally rich part of the country, very historical. It's a very diverse part of the country. So the students definitely get that, that experience when they're coming here to study, which is exciting. There is housing available off campus. There are no dorms at Union County College, but the students have the opportunity to find private apartments to live in or homestays. And there is, of course, people on our end who can help the students to find these options when they're ready to make those decisions. Much of this info is similar, not quite the same. So the price for Union totally for the year is around $30,000. For the program fee for Union, it is a little bit cheaper. It's $1,000 per year. We have room and board estimated around $12,000 per year to live in the area. But again, this fluctuates a little bit as housing does every year. So this is a rough approximation. The entry guidelines are more similar to Golden Gate University. The GPA requirements are the same, just like they are for every other school in our program. 2.0 GPA to enter American Success and 3.25 to enter the American Honors Program. The TOEFL IBT score is a little bit lower than the Community College of Philadelphia. IELTS 3.5. But again, this provides more opportunities for students who are really bright, but they just need a little bit more time to build up their score. This provides an opportunity for them to come here and study and take part in our program, which is exciting. And we have this new program, American Honors Live. This is very interesting because this is an opportunity to give students the ability to experience the American Honors program while still living and studying in their home country. So the students will be in classrooms and study areas, taking classes online, taking the American Honors classes online, getting instruction through Zoom, but there will also be local in-person tutors who are able to help the student and provide some support in their first language. There are these teaching assistants, which is a very cool part of this aspect. The students will be, of course, living in their home country, but taking Zoom classes of American Honors classes through the program. So these are the same honors classes that students would take if they were going to, say, the Community College of Philadelphia or Union County College. They are rigorous, challenging honors classes offered through McKendree University. And they are just as good for preparation for applying to a university as they would be anywhere else on campus in the US. And again, just like American Honors, the conditional admission to New York University or the University of Rochester is an option once the student can graduate with an American Honors through the program and meet other additional qualifications. The students will receive transfer coaching and success coaching. So just because this is online doesn't mean the students don't get the same support. They get the same support that all our students in our programs get. They get a success coach like me, albeit remotely, but my job will be the same job to help them, to support them, to provide them with information about transferring anything they need to be successful while they're studying in this program. They get the same support from me or someone like me to do this. Like I mentioned, this program is offered through McKendree University, which is in Illinois. So they're the ones who offered this kind of blended learning format, both online, but with some face-to-face components as well. And the students, when they are in this program or finished, they have several options. They can choose to transfer after 1 year, either to an American Honors campus in the US or directly to a 4-year university. It's really up to them what they want to do long-term with the program. And the requirements, again, are the same for GPA. It's 3.25 for honors and 2.0 for American Success. As far as the English requirement, the TOEFL is 71 plus 20 for writing for honors and 60 for American Success. So a benefit of this is the students, because they're online, they don't have any of the added stress of having to travel or go to a new country. They can kind of more comfortably study in their home country while still getting these very high quality, challenging courses, honors courses, and getting instruction and help and support from their from local staff, from local teaching assistants, while working with instructors who are through McKendree University in the United States. And like I said, the American Honors students in this program live, they get the same transfer coaching and seminars as all the other students get. It's really no difference. It's the same amount of support. The advantage here is just the students have kind of a flexible online program. So now I want to talk a little bit about Bridgeport International Academy. This is a boarding school that's part of our program. We partner with them to offer students this opportunity to participate in high school completion. So high school completion is a really cool program where students have the opportunity to earn dual credits in high school. So while they're in high school, they can take some classes that earn them college credits that will, once they get to college, they already have them, they're already finished, they have a few credits. And they can graduate with a diploma and some college credits. So it's a very efficient way to reduce some of the time you spend in college. You don't need to have as many credits because you've already completed them in high school. It is a boarding school, like I mentioned, so students can live on campus, eat their meals on campus. So it includes room and board. Bridgeport International Academy is located in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is just around an hour from New York City. So like the rest of these schools, it is in a suburban kind of environment. It's not very busy, but if the student wants to spend the weekend or go to New York City, it's very close. There are transportation options like buses and shuttles, so the students can take a trip to New York City without too much trouble, but still during the week, focus on their studies and not without too much distraction because they live in a more calm environment. Students can, like I mentioned, stay in dorms, but they can also stay in homestays if they wanted to. Students generally start around 9th grade or 11th grade, sorry, but they can enter anytime in high school. As we can see, the entry guidelines for this, students can apply in 9th grade. Oftentimes they enter in 10th or 11th grade. The TOEFL and IELTS score, as you can see here, TOEFL is 60 and IELTS is 5.0. So it's a little more challenging. The students, when they complete their time at BIA, whether it be 1 year or 2 year, they graduate with a high school diploma from the US, plus honors classes with a number of credits. It could be however many credits that they have time to complete. It won't always be 24, it'll probably be less than that, but the students will have a number of credits that they can take with them to a college or university. They have two options. They could spend 1 year or 2 years at a community college like Philadelphia and get their associate's degrees and then transfer to a leading US university. Or the second option is to graduate from BIA with some honors classes and a diploma and go directly to a leading US university. So there are a couple options here. So the benefits of this, I mean, the students get to graduate from the US, so they get to have high school experience as well before they enter college. And the benefits of this is they get to have honors level classes when they're in college, which is really good preparation for how difficult college is going to be. Even at community colleges, high school and college are very different. So it gives the students that experience and some college credits at the same time, which is really good preparation for them and is, you know, it's a good challenge for them that will prepare them for the rigors of college and university when they eventually get to it. The program fee for our high school completion at BIA is around total $25,000 per year. The tuition is $14,000 per year. There is a $1,000 program fee, and the estimated cost of room and board is around $10,000. Again, this will fluctuate a little bit depending on housing prices as they change every year, but this is our rough approximation. So around $25,000 per year to be in this program. I just wanted to highlight in this presentation some of the success stories that we've had with students who have been in our program. So the first student, Eric from Brazil, I liked his story and I wanted to bring him up because he basically talked about how happy he was and comfortable to have a success coach there to support him as he was going through school. Someone who could help him pick his classes, create semester and quarterly plans and goals, someone to help him navigate all the nuances of tuition and financing, someone to help him connect with other students. So he was someone who's very appreciative and understood how great the support was and took a lot, took a lot from the support. So I like having a student like that to show that, like, yes, like someone who takes advantage of these resources, really makes students comfortable and helps them have a smooth time at a community college. Another student we had named Jana from China, I like her story because it was a story of a girl who didn't think about applying to a school like Cornell University, which is an Ivy League school. It's a very top tier school, very impressive. She didn't think that she could get in. She didn't consider applying, but her success coach, was not me, encouraged her to look into it and to apply for this school. And that's something that as a success coach, I try to do regularly. I mean, I want students to aim high. I want them to apply to these dream schools. I don't want them to just apply to safety schools or target schools. I say, no, you need to have 2 dream schools, because if you can put in the work, there's a good chance you could enter some of these schools. And it's always a very exciting time when a student does transfer to their dream school, to one of these leading schools like Janet did. It's a real success story that I think inspires students, and that's why I like to bring it up. Another student, Khan from Vietnam, his achievements through this program, I think, were more personal. As an artist, he got to come to the US, and in our program, he was able to display his paintings locally in the Philadelphia Art Exhibition Center. And he described it as like living a second life, being in the US with these achievements. So all these stories, I think, are really inspiring, and they show the benefits, the amazing things that students can do when they're a part of this program and applying themselves and working with their success coach. Even some other recent success stories, like just last spring, we had a student, a very bright young man who went to transfer to Boston University from the Community College Philadelphia, as well as a girl who very smart, who graduated from Community College Philadelphia and transferred to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. So all of these success stories are really exciting, and they show that students in our programs can really achieve a lot of amazing things. So looking at this picture, these are all the schools that our students, at least one student, has been accepted to. So I think it's an amazing example of the potential that students have when they're a part of our program, and when they apply themselves and work with their success coach. All of these options are available for the student, and there's some amazing schools here. We have Ivy League schools on this list. We have Cornell and we have NYU. So these are amazing opportunities that the students can have if they put in the effort. So I always like talking about this and showing this screen to people, just to inspire them and to help them to, dream big about this. Don't just settle, but have dreams and put in the work so that they can come true. And that basically concludes my end of the presentation. Now we're going to have some questions. I believe, Michael, I'll hand it off to you now.
Sure. Now's the time. If you guys have any questions, you can type in your questions under the Q&A tab, or you can unmute your mic and address any questions you have to either me or Ryan. Does anyone have any questions? Now's the time to ask. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask us both. Me and Ryan are here to address any concerns or any. Sure, we have one question. What is the deadline for the application? I presume the deadline for spring is now over, Ryan. So are we talking about the fall?
Yes, the deadline for spring is passed.
Do you happen to know when the deadline is for fall, or what are the deadlines for spring and fall?
That's a good question. I don't have that data right now. I can look that up for you and send it to you if you'd like.
Sure. Usually what I understood was the deadline for spring is roughly around mid-November, towards the end of November. And the deadlines for the fall, if I'm not mistaken, are sometime in mid-July.
I believe that's correct, yes.
Are there any other questions? Ryan, do you want to talk a bit about the Empower financing and how it helps the student to finance their last 2 years at the university that they transferred to, or do you want me to take over?
You can take over if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, we have a good opportunity with students upon completing the program. Students can apply for an international student loan of up to 50,000 US dollars per year, which they can use to finance their studies for the last 2 years of their bachelor degree. So students complete the first 2 years at a community college. They start off with the $30,000 fees, so 30 times 2 is roughly $60,000 that the parent or the student has to pay. And then upon getting admitted to the university of their choice, these students through Empower Finance can apply for an international student loan of up to 100,000 for the 2 years. At some universities, the 50,000 will cover their tuition fees and their accommodation, such as the University of Arizona, where the annual tuition fee is roughly $35,000, and the accommodation is between $18,000 to $20,000. So with that student loan, the student or the parent will not have to pay any tuition fees. All the parent and the student will pay, the parent will be paying the first 2 years of the American Honors or the American Success Program. The last 2 years will be covered by that by that student loan, and then the student can repay this loan upon graduating within 10 years at a certain interest rate. We have a couple of other questions. Can we get copies of the charts displayed? Yes, I can share with you the presentation. I can share a PDF version of this presentation. The loan is for international students, so any international student can apply for the student loan. As I mentioned, this student loan is tailored for students who've completed the first 2 years at the community college, and then they use this student loan to pay off their tuition fee for the last 2 years of their bachelor degree. Are there any other questions that we haven't covered, or is there anything else you would like us to cover? You can please feel free to unmute your mics if you have any other questions. One last time, are there any other questions before we wrap this up?
Thank you. Everything is clear.
Perfect. Thank you all for attending. I'll be sharing a PDF version of this presentation with all of you. There's also will be a recording, so we've recorded this presentation as well. I'll be sharing a link to this presentation as well with all of you, so you can all revert back whenever you feel like it. Thank you all once again for attending. Thank you, Ryan, for this wonderful presentation. And I hope that we see more students in our American Honors Program. It's a very dynamic program. As Ryan mentioned, there's a lot of success stories. If you have students who are aspiring to make it into top Ivy League schools, the American Honor or the American Success Program will be very beneficial for them. And if you have any questions after this presentation, feel free to either WhatsApp me or drop me an email. I think there are a couple more questions that just came in. So the question is, in the University of Arizona, will they take the loan? Yes, they will take the loan. So just to better explain myself, this international student loan is tailored for students who have already completed 2 years of their bachelor degree. So they've completed the first and second year and are entering their third year. So this international student loan is only allocated to students who are completing the last 2 years of their bachelor degree. So pretty much any student who has completed the first 2 years at either American Honors or American Success and has transferred successfully to a university of their choice, they're entitled for the student loan, which pays off their tuition fees for the last 2 years. Any other questions before we end this webinar? Okay, perfect. Thank you all for attending. I'll be sharing this presentation with you all within a few minutes. And once we edit this video, I'll share a link to this video as well with each and every one of you. Thank you all once again. Thank you so much, Ryan, for the wonderful presentation.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Have a great evening, everyone. Take care.
You do as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you
Take
for
care.
this wonderful presentation.